What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I typically talk about blades, but you can see from this guitar size box, we're probably not talking about a blade. Yeah, we're going to take it back over to the music side of things here at Baz on Blades. We've got another budget guitar unboxing, an initial inspection for everybody. This is a Firefly guitar. Firefly is a brand that does like what I consider to be ultra budget but quality instruments. I do have one Firefly here. That's my Lizard Burst, their classic model of Les Paul copy is basically what it is. And these guitars, that one was $169. This is the very newest iteration of the Firefly FFLP, and this guitar is selling right now, if it's still in stock, for $199 plus $27 shipping, so $226 to your door. It was to me from the West Coast to East Tennessee in just 3 or 4 days. I'm very happy with that. Now, I want to take a second before we get into the unboxing, and I want to say thank you to all my new subs that have come over to my channel because of my music content. I recently did an unboxing on this new Jackson, and it did decently for my channel, not being a music channel, but I did get some new subs from that, and I want to welcome everybody. I am going to start out, when I do something on the musical stuff, I'm going to include the knife end of things. I'm going to rep a couple of things out on the musical stuff. The first, I'm going to rep out this band that I'm wearing their t-shirt. This is Evil Invaders. These guys are sort of a modern, thrashy but groove metal oriented band. I think they're out of the West Coast from Crazy Cali, and God bless them if they are. I very, very much like this band. Musically, very solid as far as musicianship. Production, spot on, very modern, very crisp and clean. Their songwriting is not niche oriented. They have their own voice in while still having elements of popular music to broaden their fan base. I like everything about it. The singer is a great presence, great voice. The guitar players are freaking awesome. The rest of the band is solid as hell, and I highly, highly recommend this album. They do have some previous works. I will put a link for this album for this band in the description section and pin it in the comment section. Also, for our box opening today, we're going to be using the Max Ace Goliath. This is the Gen 3. I do have a couple of videos on this XL size folder that are already on my channel, and I will put links for those as well in the description section in the pinned comment. So I did cut the outer box, the end on the outer box on this, because everything's going to slide out the end. This is new packaging. This is not clamshell packaging like my other Firefly came in. So this may be awkward. I don't know. And I think it's going to be an improvement on the packaging. So let's see what I can do here in front of the camera. Okay, so what we've got is a well done outer carton, and then we've got basically a reproduction of what they already did there, where they fully encapsulated in foam. But this is more like what would line the inside of a hard case for a guitar. This is exactly what's on the inside of your hard case. They've got a mold of the guitar, a top and bottom, and then they put some sort of velour-y, caskety sort of material over it so it doesn't scratch up your instrument, and then they put it in the case. That's the form fit. So I am expecting this to actually make the shipment very well. The outside box was not damaged. The inside, this styrofoam portion right here is not damaged. I don't know if I'm going to cut the back side of that, but I'm thinking I'm going to hold on to this. So let's take a look here, see what's going. What is going on here? Did I miss one? Dadgummit! It's taped up well. It's taped up well. The more you tape around the perimeter of a box, the more structurally sound it is. Okay, so this is what we're looking at right here as far as the new shipping goes. There are actual compartments, separate compartments. It is just like I said, it's basically made like the inside of a hard shell case. Not exactly, but it's basically made that way. And it is fully encapsulated, the guitar with compartments, which they should have used for the junk cable and Allen tool that they put in here. That should have went right there. But this is a separate compartment right here with foam on the inside, still lining where the guitar is. So, you know, there's no damage there. That may actually be a little better because it's a confined space. The top of it has extrusions. You can't see that, but the top has extrusions that come down and touch onto the body for the neck and for the body. The lower side of this is fully supported down the neck channel. If you can see that, it is fully supported down the neck channel. And again, the only thing in the case is just a little baggie with a very cheap cable that I still hold on to in case there's some kid that I know that needs a cheap cable. So let's get this out. This is going to be, I'm very excited about this, first of all. These guitars cost under $200. Even if you include the shipping, you're at $226 shipped on this guitar. This is the newest iteration. I keep stopping. I know I keep stopping. I'm trying to build up suspense here. This is the newest this is the newest iteration of the FFLP, and it has some very modern appointments on it. So let's pull this out of the bag here. You are going to get the first view of it right here. There you go. There you go. It is an all-over satin black finish. Beautifully done. Top binding, neck. Fretboard is bound. Fretboard is a nice, beautiful, dark piece of rosewood. Forgive the harsh lighting that I have here. It's just the way it is on that, but it is a very dark piece of rosewood. That is extremely, wow. This finish is extremely thin. When we get to the tabletop, we're going to see, you can see wood grain through this finish. That is crazy. That's super thin. The back is a little more opaque than the front. The neck is just black. You know, I think this is the same neck profile. Let's take a look at the huge, giant, vast improvement on this set through type heel joint. Again, we'll take more of a look of that on the tabletop. This does feature the ball-in finished stainless frets, and yeah, there is absolutely no fret sprout, of course, because these frets are cut back short of the edge of the fretboard, and they are ball-end, and that looks fantastic. Let's see, I'm looking around here. It's interesting to me that they chose to bind the back of this instrument like it's a Les Paul Custom when they've got this neck joint. So you've got this short section of binding right here. You've got a belly cut. Did I mention that? You should have seen it. You should have mentioned it to me. It's got a belly cut there, so it's going to tuck up against your body more like a Stratocaster or Super Strat. You guys can see behind me here, majority of what I have up here would be considered to be a Super Strat. I cannot get over the finish on the top of this. That's super thin. I don't even know if they meant to do that. That could be a flaw. I don't know. I thought it was just supposed to be black. It is. I don't know if it's stained veneer, and then they just did the satin clear coat over it. But this finish it feels extremely thin. I mean, yeah, totally not in tune, just as expected. Yeah, not in tune, but we will take care of that. This is supposed to have the new upgrade Alnico 5 pickups in it, and they are metal covered. They're covered pickups with a black finish on that cover. Let's pull that off. You can see here that is a black finished pickup cover. All the hardware is black. Pots are stiff. But I thought so about my other Firefly, and they've come around really well. So I would rather they start out stiff and loosen up a little bit than start out good and get too loose. This neck joint is fabulous. We got to break this off. We got to break this off right meow before we run out of time, and we're going to go to the tabletop with the brand newest generation of the Firefly FFLP. This one, stainless ball end frets. Upgrade Alnico 5 humbuckers. Massive upgrade right here in this set through heel joint. It's beautiful. Bone nut, of course. They all come with a bone nut. There we go. Let's get out of this. We'll go to the tabletop and do a very close up. I want to show you guys what I'm seeing in the top of this. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all, guys. These are the new Alnico 5 pickups that came in the very newest iteration of the Firefly FFLP. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of what these pickups sound like. I was running that through the red channel of the 5153, the 50-watt Stealth, and the gain is at 11 o'clock. So it is not halfway up. That is extremely saturated channel, And the reason I went to that is my old Firefly, my older gen Firefly had their original pickups. They are much lower output than these. Just from the way these are pushing the front of the amp, I'm going to guess in excess of 12K in the bridge. I have not checked that. As far as playability, I do have some a little bit of fret buzz, but the action is extremely low on this guitar. Oh, I'm spanking it pretty hard there, guys. You can see I'm obviously playing it hard. So the fret buzz is not super duper bad, considering that the action is, this is much lower action than the red Jackson Dinky I just got. I think that action is like 1.75 miles high in kilometers. I'm not sure what that is, but it's a lot. It's a lot because it's very high. This is not too bad at all. But we're going to cut out of here right now from doing the sound samples, because cell phone sound samples through a strange amp in a strange room isn't going to do much for you. What I can tell you is this: all the electronics work. The tapers seem to be okay on the pots. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel cheap when you play it. It doesn't sound cheap either. So let's break out of this right here. We're going to go straight to the tabletop and get the up close. Okay, we are now at the tabletop. We're going to take a very close look at this guitar, do our initial inspection on it. I've done some playthrough on it and recorded just a couple of minutes of that for you, and I will insert it in between the unboxing and here. So you've already seen. Why am I even saying anything about it? Let's get on to the initial inspection. I'm going to say overall, I can only find one issue with this guitar with any aspect of it, and that is there is a little bit of fret buzz. Now, the action is very low on this guitar. All I did was take it out of the box, tuned it up, stretched the strings out real good, retuned it back up. It is tuned to standard right now. I'll see how it plays, how it comes around in the next week or two, and then I'll decide whether I'm going to drop this down to D standard, my typical tuning, which I probably will, and string it with 10s. I believe these are probably 9s. It's hard to tell. I hardly ever play in standard tuning anymore, so the tension is really fooling me. But they're 9s or 10s. They're not heavy or anything. So let's take a close look at this thing after I've said there's nothing I can find wrong with it. This is the newest iteration of the FFLP from Firefly. This is quite a bit different than previous generations. It is an all-over satin finish. It does feature a rather sizable belly cut like a Stratocaster would, and it features a set-through neck joint, which is absolutely, absolutely wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful. Now, we'll knock out the finish first. It is a satin finish. The top is transparent to a degree. It is black, but you can definitely see the wood grain through that. I believe there is 2 versions of this guitar. One is sold out, and I believe both of them have a veneer top on them, a mahogany veneer, and then they're finished differently. The other one has a sort of a clear mahogany sort of finish, and this has got the black, but it's more like a stain that is weathered. It is a very weathered look. It looks like an old barn door that's been painted black and is sort of weathering away. The back and the neck are most definitely black. And of course, everything is satin finished. You do have a black hardware. Let's take a look at that hardware here. You do have covered pickups. Please forgive the way they look. When you pull the plastic off, it looks like the neck pickup. And when you think you can rub on it with the string still on it, it looks like the bridge pickup, just nasty. I'll have to, when I restring this, I'll clean those up. But they're sort of a dark Cosmo black, dark gunmetal. Almost black, but highly polished, not matte at all. Standard layered pick guard here. The top of this does feature 7-layer binding, and we will go around the top very quickly here. You can look at the binding. There you go. I think overall it is really, really clean. The fretboard does feature single layer bonding, black dots for your side fret markers, mother of pearloid, nicely figured pearloid for your block inlays. You do have the mother of pearl Firefly and the quad diamond inlay on the headstock. The headstock carries on with the 5-layer binding that is also on the back. So you got 7-layer on the face, single layer on the fretboard, and then 5-layer on the back and the headstock. And interestingly, they have fully bound the back of this, even though they have 2 massive cutouts, one for the belly cut and one for that neck carve. So, I mean, they could have maybe not even done that. I don't know. I have not been in the electronics cavity of this so far. We will try to get into that on this video unless we run out of time. Again, these are the ball end stainless frets. This fret wire is on the medium side of medium jumbo. It is a fairly narrow fret wire. It is smaller than the fret wire that is on the classic series Firefly FFLP, the standard nickel silver. You do have black speed knobs on it, and everything is pretty standard Les Pauly-ish sort of thing here. These tuners are everything but Grovers, and they actually look, they feel in the hand, and the action on them feels really good. I'm still going to change them out for locking tuners just for ease of retuning, but there's nothing wrong with them. I didn't get any slip at all with those, and you'll see in the playing example, I was spanking on this thing pretty hard, no issues there. I can't find anything in the finish. Keeping in mind, this is a $200 instrument. That's it, okay? For a Les Paul type of build, this is more spec'd out than any $2,000 Gibson Les Paul. There is no $2,000 Gibson Les Paul that has a belly cut, a set through neck heel, stainless fret wire. Everything looks decent. So finish wise, we're okay, even compared to a $2,000 Gibson. I cannot think of anything else on the more mainstream market that is anywhere near approaching this guitar in price and quality. You will find no $200 stainless fretted, basically custom Les Paul type guitars. The only other guitar I can think that really competes with this is it's nearly 7 times as expensive, and that is the Schecter Evil Twin SLS, or not, yeah, the SLS Evil Twin Solo 2, their Les Paul type guitar. It is actually a neck through build, so the neck heel is going to be even slightly better on it. And it also features a tummy cut or a belly cut. I love I love this binding on the back. I love this binding on the back. And curious thing about this, it does not feel like a modern polymer type of build. Now, I have owned, let's see, as far as these Les Paul type guitars, more expensive wise, I have owned both an LTD 1000 series Eclipse. I have owned an ESP standard series, an actual Japanese made ESP standard series Eclipse. And I have owned a Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul Custom Silverburst. That guitar was $4,300. This guitar feels like that Les Paul in one way. And that is, when you feel on a Les Paul, the finish is not like a polymer finish. It's not super uber thick. You can feel the difference between the binding and the body on a Les Paul, an actual Gibson, because of the very thin finish. It's not a big, thick poly finish on both my Eclipses, my ESP Standard Series and the LTD 1000 series. You could not feel that joint at all because it's just a big, heavy polymer finish. This finish, whatever it is on this guitar, is extremely thin. It is extremely thin. I'm very much surprised by how thin it is. I don't know how it's going to wear, whether it's going to chip or scratch easily. I don't know that. But in the hand, this guitar, I can feel this guitar is sitting on a table. If I strum the strings, I can feel the guitar through my feet on the floor. Okay, it is very resonant. It's loud. I can't find anything quality-wise that is wrong with this guitar at all. Let's take a look at the nut. The nut is cleanly cut, cleanly dressed. I did check the string height, the nut slot depth, and it is perfectly done. It is very, very good. Again, the fretwork looks fantastic. Even though I do have a little fret buzz, it's going to need a little bit of a setup, but that's okay. The rosewood fretboard is very dark. It's going to want a little Earl on it, a little hydration, but it is very dark. It's going to look incredible once I oil it. I'll pull the strings off. I will polish the frets. I will oil the fretboard, and then we will set the action on it and see how it plays out. And that is how I will decide what modifications this guitar will get, whether it will get pickups. And I'm thinking right now, probably not. These pickups actually sound pretty decent from just the few minutes that I tried them out. They didn't stick out to me with any bad frequencies that were pushed forward. They weren't loose or tight on the bottom end. They weren't super big or super small in any of the frequency ranges. Pretty even overall and fairly smooth up on the top end. They did push the front of the amp a little bit, so they are fairly high output. I'm curious to see what that is. We'll talk about that when we do an in-depth review. Initial quality inspection out of the box, everything works, everything's straight, everything is well finished. Honestly, for $200, I mean, just throw in the shipping, $226. There is absolutely, I am convinced there's absolutely no way you could do a guitar better with better appointments for that kind of price. I don't see how you could do it. I mean, just in the parts that's on it, I mean, for me to go out and even buy cheap knockoff parts, we're looking at $200 just for that. That does not include a finished body, finished neck, stainless frets that are ball-end finished, decent tuners. I mean, that neck joint by itself on a Les Paul type guitar, get out of here. That neck joint is worth that $200 right there. To get a belly cut, this thing is so comfortable to stand with or sit down with. And I think right now I have a set of strap locks out in the mailbox that are going to be put on this. Of course, I put Shaler strap locks on all of my guitars, regardless of their price, and have for a couple of decades at least. So, okay, initial inspection on this is done. I cannot find anything wrong with it. The only thing even slightly negative that I have to report is a little bit of fret buzz, and I do not know exactly what that is. Like I said, the action is very low out of the box. We're going to let it acclimate for a week or two, and then I'll go in, restring it, and do the setup on it, and we'll see what's going on then. All right, I can't find anything bad. I just can't. I'm just shaking my head. What $200 will get you in 2023, and you know what? It's crazy that I'm even saying that, because $200 will barely buy you a pound of ground beef and a pack of hamburger buns, no cheese, no bacon, no lettuce, no tomato, just meat and bun. $200 in 2023, but you can get a killer guitar like this. Whether you're just beginning, you're intermediate, you're looking for a mod project, you're not big into Les Pauls, but you want the Les Paul vibe on one of your guitars, right here, $200. Check them out at guitarsgarden.com. We'll put a link in the description section and in the pinned comment on this video. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.